A friend recently described me as a glutton for weddings on hearing that I celebrated 9 weddings over an 8-week period, while none of the brides at these ceremonies had 10 bridesmaids. There was one with 7 delightful bridesmaids. Jewish weddings began in the evening. The families and guests formed a procession to accompany the couple from the bride's family home to her new home with her husband's family. As they drew near, the womenfolk of the groom's family formed a torched, lit procession of welcome. In today's wedding parable, there is an unexpected delay in getting proceedings underway. Suddenly, towards midnight, word comes that the procession is on its way. There is a frantic flurry of activity as the girls form their procession, only to discover that half of the lamps will not light. If they try to stretch out an oil supply, enough for 5 lamps, to provide for twice that number, there is every danger the procession will be plunged into darkness after a few minutes. 5 girls are sent off to find an oil shop, an unlikely prospect so late at night. A bride could be forgiven for having a bridezilla moment in the midst of such chaos. Things get worse when the 5 girls return from their late night shopping. The groom refuses to open the door to them, saying he does not know them. They were shut out. Evelyn Fox Keller, who died recently, was born in Queens, New York, into a family of first-generation Jewish immigrants from what is now Belarus. Evelyn did well at school and qualified as a theoretical physicist. In a sector dominated by men, Evelyn proposed that women's lack of success had nothing to do with their ability, but was a consequence of the widespread belief that science was an inherently masculine endeavor. In 2018, Evelyn won the Dan David Prize and donated the prize $300,000 to Israeli organizations committed to defending human rights in Palestine. Evelyn, accustomed to being an outsider in a male-dominant area of research, would almost certainly empathize with the 5 girls locked out from the wedding by the groom. It seems very unfair. Their laziness may have risked ruining the wedding, but they were relatives after all, and perhaps not too experienced in wedding rituals. I understand the image of the oil for the lamps in the parable as a disposition for empathy, for the person who is hurting, that makes one alert to presence and the needs of victims, that leads to action and responses that further the values of God's kingdom. Timothy Radcliffe, who led the retreat for the participants at the Synod in Rome during the month of October, spoke a lot about friendship and truth. He reasoned, friendship flourishes when we dare to share our doubts and seek the truth together. Conversation needs an imaginative leap into the experience of the other person, to see with their eyes and hear with their ears. We need to get inside their skin. From what experience do their words spring? What pain or hope do they carry? The temptation is to demonize those with whom we disagree, to retreat to our tribe. Today's parable seeks to encourage us to ripen our sense of urgency for the needs of today. Matthew cries out that the time between the resurrection and the return of Christ is not empty time. It provides an opportunity for the followers of Jesus to prove they are his genuine disciples by devoting themselves to good works. Paul, in the reading from the first letter to the Thessalonians, offers comfort to those grieving the death of loved ones. At a time of acute pain in the world, in Palestine, Israel, and Ukraine, to name but a few hurting places, there is something poignant about the urgency and empathy of Jewish woman Evelyn Keller funding the defense of human rights in Palestine. At a time when so many people are shut out and shut off from essential human rights, there is a fundamental need to ignite the oils of empathy so that we can get into each other's skins. Rashad Field, I believe, can help us in this journey towards empathy. Rashad writes in Breathing Alive, we come into this world on the breath of God's compassion, and we go out of this world on the breath of God's mercy. In between these two eternal breaths, all creation, human and other than human, share in this most wondrous moment with our little breaths of air, the only element on planet Earth that we all have so intimately in common. Amen.